The following program is sponsored by the Building Wisconsin Television Network.
Welcome back to Building Wisconsin, Doug. Great to see you again. I'm so excited about today's show because we have an opportunity to visit a couple of really important facilities here in Northeast Wisconsin that most people in our communities oftentimes overlook, despite the fact that they play a critical role in cleaning water and providing public health. Isn't that right?
That's right, Stu. Today we're going to start off down in Kaukauna at the Heart of the Valley Wastewater Treatment Plant, and eventually we're going to end up here at this facility, which is New Water in Green Bay. No one really thinks of what happens when you flush, but this is where it all ends up, and they clean it up and get it ready for us.
And I know a lot of your members, they are involved in servicing and improving these facilities, and we'll get into that a little later in today's show. But before we do that, let's take a moment to talk about your training center, because as I understand it, Local 400 offers apprenticeship training for a number of the different pipe trades.
Yeah, that's right. We have 4 different apprenticeship programs that we do at Local 400. There's the plumbing, which this is a lot of plumbing today, and then we have steam fitters. The steam fitters also work in these type of environments. And then we got the fabrication shops. The fabrication shop is concentrated on welding, high production, X-ray quality welds. And we also have HVAC service techs, which maintain and keep these places running.
Well, on today's show, we're going to be featuring some of your members that work at these facilities. And those workers work for a couple of your signatory contractors. One is August Winter and Sons, and the other is JF Ahern. Can you tell us a little bit about those companies?
Yeah, JF Ahern is probably our largest employer of all the contractors here for Local 400, and I have a personal connection with them. That's who my brother currently works for. Great place, great contractor. And then there's August Winter and Sons. That's who I served my apprenticeship with. I ran jobs for them at wastewater treatment plants. Another just fantastic contractor.
And whether it's those 2 signatory contractors or any of the partnerships you have, it's all about partnerships, isn't it? And we're fortunate here in Wisconsin to have those strong partnerships between Local 400 in this case and the signatory contractors.
Yeah, without a doubt, Stu. Up here in Northeast Wisconsin, Local 400 looks to that MCA, which is our contractors group, as a partner. And without them, we're not getting the work that we're doing, and we're not successful without them. And I know they feel the same way, especially with our training and the training we provide.
Well, again, thank you for introducing today's show. I look forward to seeing you on another episode. Right now, I'm heading down to Kaukauna to the Heart of the Valley.
All right, Stu, have a good one. Thanks.
Welcome to Building Wisconsin, Brian. Thanks for coming on today's show. And this is a pretty impressive water treatment facility here at the Heart of the Valley Wastewater Treatment Plant. Tell us what we're looking at.
Well, first off, welcome to Heart of the Valley. We're overlooking our biological treatment system. That takes care of the organic material in the wastewater after it enters the plant. That's called a biosteer system. It's a proprietary system from Kruger.
Oh, awesome. Now, how long has this plant been in existence?
Most of what you see was upgraded in 2007, but the plant originally dates back as early as 1937.
So it's been here a long time, strong member of the community, and that's what a lot of people don't realize is the wastewater treatment plant isn't a separate entity. It's actually all of us that live in this community. And how many communities does this serve?
This treatment plant serves 5 different communities.
Oh, wow.
A combined population of up to about 55,000 residents.
So how many gallons of wastewater come into this facility?
On average, in 2022, we've treated 6.3 million gallons per day.
Wow, that's coming in and going out?
Correct.
Holy cow, and I want to learn more about that process. And you know, Here on Building Wisconsin, we've had a chance to tour around the state. We've probably been to 4 or 5 of these water treatment facilities, and they are awesome. They do a great service to our communities and our environment by cleaning the wastewater and returning it to the local environment. So could you briefly take us through that process?
So yeah, every treatment plant's a little bit different. Heart of the Valley is unique. I mentioned the BioSteer process. We're standing on our ActiFlow. That's also a Kruger proprietary process. The ActiFlow provides primary treatment for the wastewater that enters. The BioSteer provides the secondary biological treatment for the wastewater.
Okay, and then after that it's released into the Fox River?
One more step before that is the disinfection process.
Oh, okay.
We use hypochlorite to disinfect the wastewater just prior to introducing it to the Fox River.
So you've summarized a very complex process very quickly. So it's
Absolutely.
much more complicated than that. Well, not unlike our highways, roads, and bridges. I mean, there's a lot of infrastructure that needs to be maintained, and you have some exciting projects going on here, don't you?
We do. We have a mainline interceptor that Heart of the Valley owns and operates. The mainline interceptor has been experiencing some corrosion due to acidic conditions within the interceptor system, and that interceptor is invaluable infrastructure that actually connects our member communities to the treatment plant here at Heart of the Valley.
Anything else going on here?
We're in the final stages of our effluent filtration project. That's a project that C.D. Smith was the successful general contractor. August Winters also is a primary subcontractor with C.D. Smith. They're taking care of a lot of the technical and mechanical parts of the project on behalf of C.D. Smith.
You know, just quickly, you know, when you see the guys in action from August Winters down there, I mean, I was walking by, it looks choreographed. I mean, they're highly trained, highly skilled. Does that come into play? I mean, are you guys concerned about who you're hiring to do these projects?
I think, you know, that's one of the best things about having construction in a municipal arena is we don't have concerns about unqualified people coming onto our job site who aren't safety trained and who aren't ready or have done the work before. We've got a seasoned group of veterans coming in that C.D. Smith and August Winter can pull in that have done it before, kind of a been there, done that, no surprises. When you do something day after day, you get good at it. And that's what we need in this environment.
And what's that mean to the community? It means it's getting done on time, on budget, and correctly, so you don't have to worry about this for another 50 years.
Correct.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you get back to work. Thanks for coming on Building Wisconsin. I'm going to go catch up with Dave from August Winter.
All right, thank you.
You know, Dave, I was just talking to Brian and I was telling him that on previous shows we've had a chance to travel around the state and visit different water treatment facilities. And what blows my mind is how many miles of piping exists in these facilities.
Kind of like you saw on the way in, the large pipe galleries and the large tunnels, all the interconnecting equipment and piping. It takes a lot to get facilities like these working.
And Brian was telling us how there's a lot of exciting changes going on here at the Heart of the Valley wastewater treatment plant here in Kaukauna. And you guys are playing an integral role in this project.
Yeah, so this project is an upgrade to the filtration system. After first treatment and second treatment of the effluent, this is now a third treatment to help clean it up a little more before it gets discharged.
So as I look around this facility, it looks like it's been refurbished. And when I look down in these big tanks, is that what they are? Is the effluent going to come in here before it's treated again?
Yep, the effluent comes in from the splitter box and it'll get pre-treated with some chemical to help collect those solids so that when they do pass over to the filter equipment, they're able to get collected and removed from the water.
Oh, wow, this is really cool to see it before the effluent's in there. Now, does the effluent come in that massive pipe there? That's got to be a 42-inch pipe.
That's one of the inlets, the main header to the 6 disc filter before it gets treated.
Sure, now over here you reference the filters. I take it that's what these are?
That's correct. So underneath our feet is that large 42-inch header, and they all discharge into these 6 new disc filters to get cleaned a little bit further and then discharge out to the river.
First of all, I gotta say hats off to Kaukauna and all the paying members to taking the extra step to protect our environment. I mean, this will really help the Fox River maintain its cleanliness, right?
Absolutely.
And then when I look at the size of the pipes here coming off the headers, those are massive. So do they all tie back in together before it's released?
Correct. Off the bottom of the filters, there's another series of drops that tie into a large 42-inch header that'll get tied in outside underground and then eventually discharged to the river.
And that's what you guys are in charge of, all the plumbing in here, right?
Correct. The equipment setting and then the interconnecting piping between all the processes, not just interior but also exterior and some of the site piping.
And you know, I look at this and it's pretty complicated. And what jumps to mind is, sure, safety is always at the forefront, but the training, I mean, how do you get trained to work on equipment like this? This is massive infrastructure.
So what I ended up going through was a 5-year plumbing apprenticeship that involves day school training, which is more of the code aspect of the Wisconsin Plumbing Code. Helps you understand the systems, how to size piping, and make everything work. In addition to that, there's also night school training that we take at Local 400. A little more hands-on, but you are still able to kind of fine-tune what you want to know and what you want to work on, whether it's welding or other type of certifications there. But the biggest portion of that apprenticeship is the on-site install with experienced journeymen and other apprentices and kind of learning it through actually doing it on these different projects.
Well, that 400 Training Center, definitely world-class facility, and I sense a great deal of pride. Are you happy with your career choice?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah?
I started it actually right out of high school. I kind of worked into August winters and back into the tool room and visited a bunch of different sites and got a feel for the line of work and worked my way up through the apprenticeship and went through it that way.
That's an awesome story. Did you ever think you'd be working on big infrastructure projects when you first started your one apprenticeship?
No, I didn't. You know, typically plumbing-wise, you think of the smaller piping, water, to those types of fixtures, but in the industry we're in the mechanical contractor, the work we do, you get to see everything up to this large process piping. So.
Well, you know, I really appreciate you just sharing a little bit of your day-to-day activities. Thanks for coming on Building Wisconsin.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Well, Tyler, great to have you on Building Wisconsin. I was just talking to Dave about the new final filtration project that's going on inside, and as I understand it, this is the final step in the process. It needs to be tied into the existing line?
Yes, right now we cut out a chunk of the existing 42-inch concrete, and we're fitting up our ductile iron T, and they're getting a couple measurements to tie into the piece that comes out that Dave stubbed out of this box in here.
Okay, so this project is, you know, you're digging into the existing, you're not replacing everything, you just want to tie it in. Walk us through what I'm looking at here. I see different pipes around here, I see a lot of plumbers in action.
Yep, so right now we have bypass piping set up from their effluent that runs right by us and dumps into their final channel that goes out to the river.
Okay, you say you're bypassing it. It's still treated, right?
Yes, correct.
And so that, what is normally was being dumped into the river.
It used to flow through that pipe, and right now this is getting it around us so
Okay.
we can do our work. When this one's done and tied in, we backfill, and then we have where it dumps into the splitter box next to do.
Okay, so you got a couple more of these.
Yes, we have 2 more to do.
What is your role on this project?
Right now I'm the plumbing foreman on site for the exterior work we're doing. We have 2 operators working for between the digging and the backfilling and helping us rig pipe up, and I have 2 apprentices working for me.
That's awesome. Get the younger generation
Yes,
in here, and
you
they can,
bet.
you can mentor them. Is that kind of fun for you?
It is. You see them come from not knowing what the tools are to working their way up to eventually, hopefully being foreman is the goal for them.
Well, you're a young guy. It probably wasn't too many years ago that
No,
you were an apprentice.
exactly.
I mean, how long have you been a plumber?
Since 2011 I got into Local 400.
So over
And
10 years.
2012 I got the apprenticeship and started going from there.
Okay, and it was an apprenticeship through Local 400?
Yes, it was. Yep. Went through the 5-year apprenticeship, got my journeyman's, and then I took the master's test after that after 3 years.
So again, a lot of people don't have the appreciation, the knowledge of what it takes to become a licensed, especially master plumber in the state of Wisconsin.
Yes.
I mean, you have the 5-year intense apprenticeship, then you have to pass a really intense state exam, and then you
exam.
said it takes 3 years to get your master's, and that takes another test?
Yeah, you need 3 years of working hours to add up to be able to take the master's test. Yep.
And that test, is that pretty intense?
Yeah, it's pretty similar to the journeyman's. I mean, it's most of the day, 2 parts. And
oh, wow, nerve-wracking, that's for
bet.
sure. But as we mentioned on previous shows, I mean, really, of all the trades, the plumbers are in charge of the health and safety of the nation, because
bet.
we're talking our most vital natural resource is water.
Yes, yeah, you have the drinking water, and then this sends it back from the wastewater side of it back to the river, and it just completes the cycle.
Sure.
Yep.
Are you happy with your career choice?
Oh, I am, yes. You can go from doing stuff like this, 10, 12 feet in the ground, so you can go work inside a hospital or residential. I mean, the options are kind of endless.
Well, you know, I asked Dave, and I'm going to ask you the same question. Did you ever anticipate working on huge infrastructure projects on day one of your apprenticeship?
No, when you think plumber, you think you're crawling under a cabinet or a sink or something, or doing houses. You don't think you're going to be swinging in 42-inch ductile that's 7,000 pounds a stick. And
Yeah, but it's pretty cool, isn't
yeah,
it?
it is.
I mean, to be able to show your friends, your family, hey, I worked on that. I mean,
Yes.
You're talking massive pipe, and it's even bigger, Dave said, than the 42-inch.
Yeah, there's 54 pretty much right underneath us coming to that, and it reduces down, yes.
Oh, that is awesome. Well,
Yep.
I can tell you're busy. I appreciate a little bit of your time.
Yep, you bet.
Best of luck with this project and your career in the future.
All right, thanks a lot.
Well, Pat, thanks for coming on Building Wisconsin. What a facility here. Let's get right into it. What are we looking at?
We're right now overlooking our final clarifiers at our Green Bay facility. We've got 8 final clarifiers on this side of the plant. We've got another portion of our plant with 2 finals. What we're doing is removing out any additional solids, and our final effluent is going through our chlorine contact basins during disinfection season, and then it's headed out to the river.
Well, you make it sound very easy, but honestly, a lot of people in our communities have no idea about the process, but they definitely understand how important it is because we take it for granted, right? You do your wash, you do your dishes, you flush the toilet, and it's out of sight, out of mind, but it's because of you guys that we can rest assured it's being done in an environmentally friendly manner.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. We do provide a service to the community. We're very proud of that service. We want to make sure that that service is available 24/7. At times when the weather is not very good, when it's raining heavy or when it's very cold, it becomes a little more challenging, but we take great pride in making sure that we are always up and running.
And you touched on the processes, and as important as that process is, it's really the people behind the scenes that make it all happen. I mean, they're really the ones that we should be thanking.
Absolutely. They're very dedicated staff. They do a great job. They work safely. They're very intelligent, looking for opportunities to make things easier, quicker, more efficient. Again, they are working around the clock to make sure that this facility is running.
Now, what is your role here?
My role is Director of Operations, so my responsibilities include the overall operations of both of our facilities, both this one here at Green Bay and also our facility at the pier. We've got a maintenance staff with tradespeople in it. We've got E&I technicians, we've got millwrights, and we've also got a team of environmental health and safety specialists as
A
well.
lot of different trades involved in this process.
Absolutely. It requires a skill set to maintain this equipment. It is very complex. There are inherent hazards in this environment, and we need to have skilled individuals with an embedded safety background working for us.
Well, I can tell you're Director of Operations because you appreciate the training, the understanding of safety, and really a baseline skill set that's necessary to work in a place like this. I mean, you just can't show up and start working on pipes.
No,
right?
absolutely not. You can't show up and effectively work on stuff. I mean, you have to have years of schooling generally. You're coming with on-the-job training. Safety is a big part of that. We try to provide a safe working environment for our employees. We expect our contractors and tradespeople to come on site and continue on with that.
And this facility appears to me to be pretty large. I mean, we've been at different ones around the state. But this serves most of northeast Wisconsin, is that fair to say?
It does. We've got a 285 square mile service area, just shy of 240,000 residents, 15 municipalities. So it is a decent sized facility here in the state of Wisconsin. Nationally, we're probably on the smaller side, but it's decent size.
Hey, smaller or bigger, it's all the same process in that you're bringing in wastewater, you're cleaning it and returning it safely to the environment, and we should all be appreciative because we're fortunate to have the highly skilled professionals that work here and take care of that business for us.
And I thank you for that recognition. Some of this infrastructure that we're looking at today is well over 50 years old. It is time for it to be replaced. That's kind of where we bring in our tradespeople and contractors to perform that work. It is critical work. It needs to be done safely. It needs to be done efficiently and on time.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Perfect segue. I'm going to let you get back to your work. I'm going to go learn about the new technology that the tradespeople are using at this facility.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Well, Matt, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come on Building Wisconsin. We're here at the new water plant down in the basement. It's a little loud, but I love coming down into the bowels of a plant like this just to see all the different piping. What are you working on?
So we've been tasked with a surface water replacement here at the facility, and we're going to use some of our technology today to capture the data here and take it back to our drafts people and get a prefabrication list and spool drawings that we can send out to site here to have the guys put in.
Sure, I'm anxious to learn more about that technology, but before we get into that, I'm curious about the history of Matt. I mean, how long have you been in this line of work?
Well, I've been a member of Local 400 for 20 years. I've also been with Ahern that entire 20 years. Started out as an apprentice, worked my way into the foreman role, and got myself into some technology.
Yeah, this is amazing. Now you're a steam fitter by trade, right?
That's right.
And you're happy with your career choice?
Absolutely.
You know, every show I do with all the different trades, it's amazing. We are so fortunate here in Wisconsin to have that partnership between the union and the signatory contractors, because the training that is involved is really second to none, and it's there for the taking, right? I mean, you sound like you've taken advantage of it over the years.
That's right. The opportunities are endless, whether it be a plumber, the service tech, steam fitter, the training is out there. It's all up to you. You want to take it.
Sure. Well, let's get back to the task at hand. You said you're doing a model of this room. I mean, how are you doing that?
The piece of equipment we have behind us here is a 3D laser scanner. We have it set to a 4.5 minute cycle, and in that 4.5 minute cycle, it'll collect 17 million points, all based on line of sight. So anything that machine can see, it'll collect data from, and we'll take that back and have our 3D point cloud model.
Wow, and so that device right there is creating a 3D model of an existing building, and you said you're bringing in some new piping here, right?
Right.
And you're gonna have to negotiate all these obstacles that would historically be in the way. You wouldn't know until you're starting to put it together. With that model, that's got to make it much more efficient, and you're much more assured of it fitting when you bring it on site?
That's right. The accuracy of 1/16 of an inch, and not only was it efficient, but it's given us the competitive advantage of having it right the first time. And we always have that data to look back to, not like the old way when we may have had to come back out here with our tape measures and levels and lasers or transits and recollected some information that we may have missed.
Even though it's new technology, I gotta believe that having your experience, your 20 years of experience, is really beneficial in operating it and collecting that data, right?
Well, having the knowledge of the facilities that we go into and how they work and the pieces of the puzzle that bring it all together is definitely a benefit. We can take that information back to our designers, and if there's something that they can't quite see in the image, we can explain it to them and have that extra knowledge behind it.
Sure. Now, you said it's a 4.5 minute cycle. How many cycles will you do in a facility like this?
I'll decide that as I kind of go. I want to capture as much data of the piping that we're replacing, get the best images we can, so I might spend a half a day in here.
Okay, and then you send all that information back to your drafts people, you said?
That's right.
And then they create, what, just a still picture of it, or is it possible to actually create a fly-through animation?
So the 3D point cloud that this creates, we can actually fly through in itself, but our drafts people will take that point cloud image and remodel piping into it with end-to-end measurements, center-to-center measurements, and be able to go through a 3D BIM model.
That's got to be so nice when you're doing a remodel job or you're improving, whether it's a commercial building, a municipal building, these industrial type buildings. I mean, to know that you have it right, know all the obstacles and what you're dealing with, because ultimately being efficient is the name of the game, right? For the end user, they don't want to waste money on things that don't fit right the first time.
That's
and
right.
This has got to work. Now, how do you control this?
With the tablet right here, this creates a Wi-Fi signal between the two of them, and I can control that. Basically, I'll set this instrument up based on some points around. I'll give it some elevations and let it do its thing.
You said about a half a day you're going to be here and you'll get what you need?
Yep. When I leave here today, I'll have all the information we need to go back and get a good model, some good spool drawings, and ultimately the end product that gets delivered here.
Well, you know what's ringing true with me is that technology continues to advance. There's plumbers, steam fitters using this type of technology. So if I'm a young individual, I'm in high school, I want to get into the trades, pay attention to math, pay attention to CAD opportunities, design opportunities, because the more advanced, the more talented you are when it comes to that, the further the advancement of your career, right?
That's right. The opportunities are endless in construction. It might start out as an apprentice turning wrenches, but if you pay attention, if you want to work your way up the ladder, all those opportunities are there. PMs, drafts people, superintendents, journey workers, all of them.
Well, 3D modeling is really where it's at. I wouldn't have envisioned a steam fitter being so intimately involved with it. Thanks for giving us an introduction to the technology. I'll let you get back to work.
Thanks.
For more information on Building Wisconsin, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and be sure to watch additional episodes on YouTube or at our website, buildingwisconsintv.com. The preceding program was sponsored by the Building Wisconsin Television Network.